There's not enough time in the day. I can't fit that in my schedule. I'm always a day late and $1 short. I'm running behind. Americans are so busy, and many of us like to show off how busy we are. It's like an American badge of accomplishment to be very busy. Maybe we're wearing the wrong badge. Can our extreme busyness keep us from experiencing authentic love? Yes, it sure can. All of the choices we make day in and day out about how we use our time greatly affects who we are, who we become, and how we value other people in our lives. You've probably seen this demonstration before, but it's always a good reminder of putting first things first. All right, the small things, the small pebbles and sand, the gravel, they're the mundane items, such as cleaning our house, cleaning our car, making sure the oil gets changed, making sure that we're going shopping for food and getting groceries and making our meals, kind of the mundane things. So that's our small sand. Also, some of the sand and the gravel in our lives can also be things like excessive screen time on laptops, maybe scrolling on our phones, also binge watching. Those things can take up a lot of our time. And we also have to spend plenty of time getting to and from places such as going to work and school and shopping and doing these things, transporting ourselves to and from those places. All right, let's see if we can fit all of these things that we have to do in our lives, see if we can fit them in our jar here, our time jar. It's not going to fit. Let's go ahead and put the very big things in first. These are the most important things, like our relationships with our friends and with our family, with our spouses, taking time with them, to do things with and for them. That's important. Now, sometimes we have to kind of juggle things around. We have to really make an effort. So let's see if we can put in some of the small pebbles, things that are not quite as important here before we put in our medium-sized things, so we can fit everything into our time jar. This is not an easy thing to do, is it? It is not easy to fit everything that we need to do in our lives. We have to make great effort, but we have to plan ahead. And then we can get everything to fit. All right, so we've got all of our big rocks, we've got all of our sand and our gravel. Now let's see if we can fit in our small pebbles. All right, that fit much better, don't you think? Friends, let's make a weekly plan and then stick with it. Take a few minutes each week to plan your week and see what a difference it can make. Why weekly? Because we think in weeks. Some of you may be thinking, well, I don't want my life to be tied to a planner. I like my freedom. Well, just the opposite is true. A weekly plan will free you up. You can keep all of your important information in one place instead of scattered all over. A planner is not meant to be your master, but a tool to help you live your life. We've discovered that planning your schedule around roles that you play in your life helps you stay balanced. This is just the first half of time management. The other half is learning to overcome fear and peer pressure. It takes courage and guts to stay true to your first things, like your values and your standards, when the pressure is on. Never let your fears make your decisions. Sean Covey wrote, I remember quitting my 7th grade football team after just one practice because I was afraid of competition. I'll never forget contemplating running for student body office, but chickening out because I was too scared to speak in front of the whole school. Throughout my life, there have been classes I never took, friends I never made, and teams I never played for, all because of these very ugly, real fears. I like how Shakespeare put it in Measure for Measure. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. My dad once told me something I've never forgotten. "Sean," he said, "never let your fears make your decisions. You make them." As gymnast and Olympic gold medalist Gabby Douglas said, "The hard days are the best because that's where champions are made. So if you can push through, you can push through anything." Although she makes mistakes for all the world to see, she doesn't give up. So just do it. Make a new friend. Resist peer pressure. Break an old habit. And develop a new skill. Try out for a team. Audition for a play. Ask out the one and only. Get involved. Most important, be yourself. For our playlist therapy for this episode, we will focus on keeping promises and being loyal. You're welcome to make a playlist titled Promises and Be Loyal, and then make your own playlist of 3 or 4 songs that speak to you of these 2 important qualities through song. Also, if you'd like, you're welcome to listen and watch Lauren Daigle sing her song Loyal, and watch the TED Talk, The Importance of a Promise by Amanda Messer. Either while listening to your playlist or watching Lauren's song in this TED Talk, please write on a paper a promise that you plan to keep. Then keep it. If you feel like you might break your promise, listen to your song from your Promise Be Loyal playlist again and write your promise one more time and underline it. It will help you keep your promise.
Your love is loyal. Your love is loyal. More faithful than the rising sun. This grace for me I cannot outrun. Your love is loyal. You were always there for me. You listen every time I speak. You look into my eyes, see the things I hide, and say that you will never leave. Your promises I cannot break, and I know you will never change. Your love is loyal. Your love is loyal.
When that weekend came, and Dad said he was coming, I would sit by the window and wait. And then I would wait. And then I would wait some more. As an 8-year-old girl, I would watch the cars go by, hoping that the next one was him. And then crying, I would beg my mom to call him just one more time. My mom understood something that I just couldn't at that age. That it didn't matter how many times we called, he wasn't going to come. My dad is an alcoholic and a drug addict. My dad died yesterday. On September 4th, 2011, he was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer. The disease spread and it took his life. He went on to say that people kept asking him if there was something that they could do for him. And he said that there is. There's something that you can do for yourself. Take a little promise in your life and keep it. A few days later, he was asked to give his father's eulogy, and he titled it, "Because I Said I Would." In it, he talked about how his dad was just an average man. He never won a marathon, and he didn't win any awards or anything, but what he was good at was keeping his promises. In honor of his father and at this funeral, he introduced a concept he would call a promise card. It's very simple to use. What you do is you just write a promise on the card. You just give it to someone else, and you tell them that this is actually my property. It is a symbol of my honor and part of my character as a person. Then you go, and you fulfill your commitment, and you get that card back. Because you've earned it. Because you're a person of your word. Because I Said I Would has received over 15,000 promise card requests in a single day. And the moment that I saw that Facebook post, I knew it was something I had to be part of. It was my opportunity to do something about the pain that was caused to me. That other people didn't have to feel the kind of hurt that I felt. And so I committed to helping him. And I helped change this card into a movement. I would end up quitting my job to ensure the success of Because I Said I Would. A decision that may seem hard at first, but when you look at the messages we received, it's very easy to understand. Messages like this one. I promise to make life worth living for my sister with Down syndrome every day of her life, and to take care of her when my parents are no longer able to. Because sometimes a promise is just in recognition of a simple fact.
One of my favorite quotes from Sean Covey is, "On their deathbed, nobody has ever wished that they had spent more time at the office." I've often asked myself, well, what do they wish they'd spent more time doing? I think the answer might be spent more time with the people they love. You see, it's all about relationships, the stuff that life is made of. Alrighty, now it's time to discuss the Relationship Bank Account, or RBA. Sometimes in our relationships we make deposits, positive actions and words, and sometimes we make withdrawals, negative actions and words. Your PBA, or your personal bank account, represents the amount of trust and confidence you have in yourself. The RBA, the relationship bank account, represents the amount of trust and confidence you have in each of your relationships. You can make deposits and withdrawals, and you have an RBA account with every person you meet. The summer after high school graduation, my best friend Tara and I were dating two really cool guys. They were best friends, and Tara and I were best friends, and the four of us would go out together. One weekend, Tara's family and Sam, my boyfriend's family, both went out of town on a trip together. Tara's boyfriend, Will, texted me and said, "Hey, let's go see a movie since Tara and Sam are out of town and we have nothing to do." We truly went out only as friends. Will knew that and I knew that. Of course, someone saw us sitting at the movies together and took pictures of us and started spreading rumors and posting them online. When Tara and Sam returned, even before I had a chance to talk to my best friend or my boyfriend, there was no way to take back the rumors and the pictures that had been posted, and there was no explaining. My best friend and boyfriend chose to believe the pictures, the posts, and the lies that had been spread. I learned a really tough lesson about loyalty that summer that I've never forgotten. To this day, my once best friend still won't talk to me. Gossiping is a huge problem among teens. Gossipers usually like to pick on people who look different, think different, are self-confident, or stand out in some way. But isn't it kind of silly to think that tearing someone else down builds you up? You see photos of what everyone's up to online, and it's easy to feel jealous or excluded. It can bring out a desire to tear other people down. Gossip and rumors probably have destroyed more reputations and relationships than every other bad habit combined. To be loyal, you must keep secrets, avoid gossip, and stick up for other people. Be loyal. Sean, I don't want to ask you again. There are trash bags in the trunk of my car from the party the other night. Please throw them away. Oh, okay, Dad, I will. As a carefree teenager, I somehow forgot to empty the trash bags in Dad's Ford as I promised I would. I had a hot date that Saturday afternoon, and I asked Dad if I could use the Ford, but he said no, since it was a loaner from the dealership. But I took the Ford anyway. The date was awesome, and I felt great. On the way home, though, I rammed into the back of another car going 30. No one was seriously hurt, but both cars were nearly totaled. I'll never forget the most miserable phone call of my life. Dad? What? I had a car accident. You what? Are you okay? Well, I got into a wreck. No one's hurt. In which car, Sean? The Ford, Dad. No! I had the Ford towed to the Ford dealership to see if they could salvage it. Since it was Saturday, they told me they wouldn't be able to work on it until Monday. On Monday, my dad received a call from the repair shop. The manager said that when his people opened the trunk to repair the car, the smell of rotting garbage which I promised I'd empty, was so disgusting they refused to work on the car. If you thought my dad was mad before, you should have seen him then. For the next several weeks, I was in the doghouse. It wasn't just the trash he was so mad about. He was angry because I'd broken 2 promises. I won't take your car, Dad, and don't worry, Dad, I'll take the trash out of the trunk. It was a huge withdrawal, and it took me a long time to rebuild my relationship bank account, my RBA, with my dad again. Keeping small and big promises is vital to building trust. You just got to do what you say you're going to do. Otherwise, don't say you'll do it. If you tell your partner you'll be home by 11 p.m. or that you'll pick up the dry cleaning, then do it. And make a personal relationship deposit. Cha-ching! Keep your promises. Subscribe to Problem Solved, fellow humans. Together we can change our world for good. Be happy and prosper.